Hey, good morning, everyone. How are you all doing today? I hope you're having a good one. Uh, so far, I see my buddy Mike Cook. Mike has a great show. He does on Rumble, and I also see it on Facebook, Patriot Mike Show. Go check him out. I subscribe to him. He's a really great guy. We're both veterans, so because of that, we have fun together. He's had me on his show. I've had him on the show. Always good to see Mike. Welcome, welcome. I see Eric in here. Wise Oracle. Uh, I see you in here. Welcome. Uh, it's been an interesting 24 hours. So we do our live show every other Tuesday, and last night was a fun show, and that is actually the basis of Veteran Nation. But I didn't get into any of the what the hell stuff. I normally don't. Um, I actually normally talk with TC, see what he wants to go over, and just kind of let that drive it because I can do the what the hell stuff whenever. But there was several big things happening with what the hells yesterday, and I definitely want to get to that. So let me start screen sharing, and we can get into this. Have I? I see Mandy Fandy. I see your comment uh, right here. I'm gonna put you up. Uh, yes, I have, and we're gonna go over it today. Have your coffee ready, folks. Have your coffee ready. We're gonna be we're gonna be going over this. Um, let's see. What's okay? That'll work. Saw you with Glare the other night. Good show. Okay, so this is the federal court. Okay, so a lot of this stuff we knew already. Uh, that was back in April, and here's the new stuff. Report and recommendation. Uh, RE motion to dismiss for lack of jurisdiction filed by Lynette Michelle Lacey Alexis Preston. That is not her legal name, but it's all the all the crap that she, what I want to say, like it's all of her what's the aliases. Okay. Motion to dismiss for lack of jurisdiction filed by John M. Cook. For the reasons above, it is respectfully recommended that the defendant's motion be dismissed and the case be recommended to the undersigned for further proceedings. R&R flag set, signed by Magistrate Zachary uh, Bolitho on 8/26. Internal deadline for referral to district judge if objections are not filed earlier. Oh, we got Conspiracy Kitty coming across my desk. He's going to try to lay on my keyboard and mess things up, so let me move that. There you go, cat. Now you can lay down. Here. He likes to chew on the little twist ties. These little twist ties, he likes to chew on them. He doesn't chew them up. He'll just, bat them around a little bit. So there, I threw him that. Now he'll have that. So let's get into these motions. Defendant Lynette Preston's motion to dismiss for lack of jurisdiction pursuant to FCRP. So I believe that's a federal court rule, 12B1, supporting memo. Okay, Kat, can you move along? You're in my way. I'm trying to read here. We're not into conspiracy theories today. He's literally standing right in front of my monitor. There we go. Defendant Lynette Preston moves to dismiss this action pursuant to federal rule of civil procedure. There is no federal question, no jurisdiction under 28 U.S. Code 1331. The defendants reside in Otter Creek, Florida, and so does the plaintiff. There is thus no diversity jurisdiction under 28 U.S. Code 1332, even if There were diversity. The complaint does not establish a minimum amount in controversy of 75,000. So they're disputing his damages. There are no allegations identifying specific damages of any kind or in any amount. Um, there is his legal bills, so we do have that. Dude, where's my coffee? I don't know, man. You should be ordering from Indies Coffee, man. Uh, it's a veteran-owned coffee company. Here, you're looking for. Here you go. It's right here. Okay, there he goes. He's leaving. Uh, in the car on the way to get coffee. There you go. There you go. Good morning, Mike. Do you have a Dutch Brothers up there, AVA? I haven't had them yet, but I hear they're good. The only time I ever come across them is up in Vegas. I drank all the coffee, you snooze. That's pretty funny, Nanny Goat. Hey, good morning. Good morning. I've got a list of where all you guys are from. I am going to do a video this morning. It's not going to come out this morning, but I'm going to put you guys all. I finally got all my new push pins, and I'm going to put you guys all on the map. But I got to look up where all these places are that you guys sent me. There's a lot of them. It's going to be a bear. So, yeah, they're saying that there's nothing for the damages. Well, he does have legal bills that she's taken him to court for an injunction he's had to appeal. So those are damages he'll be able to use. A vote for Kamala is a vote against veterans. Amen. Amen, Christopher. Amen. There is no allegations identifying specific damages of any kind or in any amount. For all foregoing actions, the complaint should be dismissed for lack of federal court jurisdiction. A supporting memorandum follows as required by local rule 7.1e. So the whole thing of Jeremy living in Ohio, being an Ohio resident, and this being federal court, that's not a slam dunk. I'll say that on Jeremy's case. It's not a slam dunk. The judge, I could see the judge ruling against him and saying, no, you own property in Otter Creek. Yeah, you're a snowbird. I don't care where your residency is. You're here enough that, yeah, you can be served locally. I could see that. I don't think that's a slam dunk. But we'll see. We'll see. Again, this is why I go back to, if you have a lawyer who's like, oh, yeah, that's exactly what this is, you should always, with every motion, with every court case, trust the lawyers who are like, or who will always temper themselves and say, like I had a contempt of court motion on that TRO that was on me. The people who put the TRO on me, they violated that TRO. And yes, I was a protected party too, because they kept delaying all of the proceedings. So every time they delayed, the judge had to relax the TRO because it's a violation of rights. Without, at no point did they adjudicate the facts. So I had a contempt of court motion, and my attorney, when we were talking about that contempt of court, she said, look, the contempt of court, it's a no-brainer, but I can't tell you what the judge is going to rule in terms of, she goes, I'm confident he's going to rule in your favor on the contempt. I can't say what it's going to mean, what type of sentence. And that's how I knew I had a good attorney. Like, she had confidence in our case, but she wasn't going to be like, oh yeah, you're going to win everything. Like, no, I didn't get that. And what ended up happening is just like that. We ended up going in. The other side said, if you drop the contempt of court, we'll drop the TRO and all other actions. And I was like, great. That's exactly what I wanted. So, but they were trying to get another continuance, and that didn't happen. You're in Scotland. I am trying to get to Scotland. I want to get up there. I want to go to the distillery up there and have some good Scotch whiskey. Okay, so we'll go back to this. So I am the named defendant in this action. I can attest that plaintiff Jeremy Hales, Jeremy Hales resides in Florida, not Ohio. Mr. Hales has been continuously living in Otter Creek, Florida for at least 6 months prior to the date of the affidavit. He has been absent only a few days. Well, that's not true. That's false right there. He's been absent months. He has been absent months. And we have videos. We can literally prove it. Sorry, I had to clear notifications on my phone. I know this from seeing YouTube videos. Okay, he's been in Ohio for a long time, like almost all summer. So that I don't think strengthens her case. But you get these attorneys. Some attorneys throw everything on the wall to see what sticks. I can't tell you if it's good strategy or not. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's not. Here is her. So these saved out of order when I saved them. Okay. We'll get to that. So I think this is a memorandum for motion to dismiss. Federal Rule of Civil Procedure provides any party may assert the following defenses by motion. 1, lack of subject matter jurisdiction. That's one of the ones that that Jeremy or that Lynette is saying. Federal jurisdiction depends on being a federal question or diversity of citizenship between the plaintiffs and defendants. A federal court should inquire whether it has subject matter jurisdiction at the earliest possible stage in the proceedings. University of Alabama versus American Tobacco Company. That's true. That is absolutely true. Although the complaint alleges jurisdiction exists under both sections, the complaint in this action fails to establish either basis for federal jurisdiction. There are no federal claims, only state law claims. See complaint. That's partially true. Partially true. I would say extortion is more of a federal, and I believe that's one of the things that Jeremy is bringing this action for is extortion. I believe that is one of the main things, which is primarily federal. I could be wrong. I'm not an attorney. I'm sure there's attorneys who'll jump in and let me know. Second, although plaintiff Jeremy Hales alleges he resides in Ohio, he resides in Otter Creek, Florida, as established by the affidavit of Lynette Preston attached with this memo. That her affidavit is dubious, but I don't think. I think this is a question that, it could go either way. It really depends upon this judge how he thinks a snowbird, absolutely where they reside in. We got 60 people here. Everyone, please like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. I appreciate you guys being here. Third, the complaint fails to allege any specific damages of any kind and does not meet the amount in controversy requirement under 28 U.S. Code 1332. Merely conclusatory alleges a statutory amount of $75,000 for each of the state law counts with no specific allegations establishing how the plaintiff was damaged or how any amount of damages is established. See Lee, Memorial Health Services versus Lexington. So I think Jeremy actually has this solid. I believe his legal bills absolutely count. And he has lots of them. I mean, he had to appeal his case, his state court case. So, and I think, okay. So I think that one is probably going to be dismissed by the judge. There is no factual basis for the court to conclude the jurisdictional amount is satisfied in this case. At the pleading stage, the party invoking federal jurisdiction bears the burden of establishing the amount in controversy requirement by preponderance of the evidence. Well, it's not really a question if it's not really a question if Jeremy incurred those things. I do want to put up digital here. Jeremy is a snowbird. 6 months Florida, 6 months Ohio, proven. My parents did the same thing. He actually is less than 6 months in Florida this year. But again, that doesn't mean the judge will definitively rule on residency that way. I know a lot of snowbirds who have claimed that in cases and gotten burned. It really comes up to the judge, how the judge feels. There's no set precedent, and it's never, to my knowledge, it's never gone up to an appeals court for an appeals court to weigh in. Once it does, then we'll have a solid precedent. She did the fifth on the deposition. Oh, she absolutely did claim the fifth. But that was in the Florida civil case. This is the federal. Where jurisdiction is based on a claim for indeterminate damages, the Red Cab Company legal certainty test gives way, and the party seeking to vote federal jurisdiction bears the burden of proof by a preponderance of evidence of the claim, which is basing jurisdiction, means the jurisdictional minimum, Tapscott v. MS Dealer Service, abrogated on the grounds by Cohen Office Depot, citing Paul Mercury. Yeah, this is actually Lynette's strongest case on this, is challenging the jurisdictional things on it. Again, I don't know. It all depends upon what this judge feels. There are other reasons it can be in federal court, though. There are other reasons. Because there's no federal question, no diversity, no allegations establishing the minimum amount in controversy for federal diversity jurisdiction, the U.S. Court for the Northern District of Florida lacks jurisdiction and should dismiss this case. So that is hers. Do we have any more of her? That one this is John Cook's. Hold on. I'm sorry that these things all got out of whack. Where is her? So yeah, that's her sign page. Physical presence this day, March, by Lynette Preston, produced identification. And there's the clerk. So there we go. Now let's get to John Cook's, because it's going to be almost exactly the same, I would imagine. John Cook. Okay. Jeremy Hales versus John Cook. The defendant Cook moves to dismiss this action pursuant to federal civil rule procedure. There is no federal question and no jurisdiction. She cannot legally take the fifth in a civil deposition. That is absolutely true, and that is why Jeremy, in his Florida civil case, now in front of Judge Davis, should immediately rule for some summary judgment right there, just because of that deposition alone. They should request that. Defendants reside in Otter Creek, so does the plaintiff. Even if there is diversity, the complaint does not establish a minimum amount in controversy of $75,000. There is no allegations identifying specific damages of any kind or in any amount. For the foregoing reasons, the complaint should be dismissed for lack of federal jurisdiction. So, yep, going for the jurisdiction. That's the strongest part of their case. No, that's her page. Memorandum, federal rule of procedure. Federal jurisdiction depends on there being a federal question, diversity of citizenship. Although the complaint alleges jurisdiction under both sections, the complaint in this action fails to establish either. So this is exactly like they're citing the same things. They just pretty much changed. They changed down here for John Cook's signature. But I do want to get to his memorandum page. I hereby certify on March 19th, 2024, a copy of the foregoing was mailed and emailed to my counsel of record for the plaintiff. That's a little bit different than what she had. Do I have a signature page? I had a signature page for John. Is that the only one? Oh, here we go. I'm the named defendant in this action. I can attest that the plaintiff, Jeremy Hales, resides in Florida, not in Ohio. Mr. Hales has been continuously living in Otter Creek, Florida for at least 6 months prior to the date of the affidavit. He has been absent only a few days. Again, this is I would not have included that. Pretty much, okay. They are, by including this, they're giving Jeremy's attorneys a reason to step in and say this is this is false. This is not in good faith. We can prove that Jeremy was in Ohio more than a few days. Like a few days. Come on. Yeah. If they were going to do anything, they should have said a few months. But they're just giving Jeremy's attorney something to argue with here. That this is an absolute mistake, I believe, on their part. We'll see. When it gets to federal court, we'll see. I know this from seeing YouTube videos. Okay, I want to point this out. John is attesting that John and Lynette testing that Jeremy Hales is in Otter Creek, Florida. This is them. This is their legal team attesting this. And they know this from seeing YouTube videos, but yet they're coming after me because I made a report of something I saw off a YouTube video. You can make reports off of something that you saw in a video. You can absolutely do it. So the attorney is repping both. For a woman with no money, that is amazing. Yeah, they're they're getting. From what I see, they're not getting the best legal representation. I'll show you why in a second here. We'll show you why. Oh, I did want to show. Yep. So they signed this in March. So I don't know why this is only coming. Oh wait. This was their one before, and the judge is ruling. So this went in front of a magistrate. So right here, signed by a magistrate, and it's going to the district judge. So he's given a recommendation of denial. Like this magistrate is saying, and normally federal magistrates, normally they're retired federal judges. Not always, but that's in general what you see. So yeah, this magistrate is saying he looked at it first and is saying, yeah, you should deny this. So they're being referred for denial. It's not denied yet. The judge can make his decision, but pretty much this magistrate's like, yeah, no, argue this in front of the judge. That's what you should do. I'm saying no. So yeah, that's what's happening in the federal court. In the state court, we're just how many days are in? We're like less than 10 days away from it going in front of Judge Davis. That will be interesting. I wish I could fly to Otter Creek and be a part of that. In fact, if anyone is near Otter Creek and wants to go to that and then come on this show and give a report afterwards, I would love to do that. Now let's talk about let's talk about her attorneys. This was yesterday. So we were getting ready for our normal live show. We do it every Tuesday, me and TC. So we don't really talk about what the Hales. TC, he does cases that he focuses on. I have cases that I focus on. And let me switch here. There we go. So TC has his cases he focuses on. I have my cases I focus on. We both sometimes we'll cross over. We definitely support each other. There are times where I'll be like, "Hey, can you do a FOIA request on this?" Or I'll be like, "Hey, can you tweet out this video for me? Retweet it for me." We're co-hosts. We support each other. It was the whole reason I brought him in. So I set up our show ready to go, and you can do this. You can create an event, and I never really had done this before. I'm starting to do it because it's just a way to be better organized. So I had set it up, but look what happened. Look what happened. This is one of Lynette's attorneys. We know that because he's been on the show. He'll never be on this show again. He has attacked this show. He is sending letters to YouTube, trying to get our YouTube taken down. Um, but yeah, he was unhappy that he couldn't change my mind, is really all it came down to. And he comes into our comments promoting another show. And that, I'm sorry, that you do that, immediate ban. You can ask us to promote another show, and we will. If this show has already used our content without our permission, and I did a copyright strike, uh, and people are mad about that. But yeah, they don't. They didn't ask permission. I always ask permission whenever I can. You know, uh, if someone doesn't get back to me timely, I'll use the stuff. And if they were to say, "Hey, I don't want you using it," I'll cut it out. I will absolutely cut out whatever I used out of their stuff. A big one is Madam Mayor and Brett Granger. I used one of their live streams. Obviously, I couldn't I couldn't contact them, but we had lost uh, a live stream of the town hall, and I rebroadcast it here on this channel. Uh, and later, I when when Brett was done with his live stream, I messaged him and I was like, "Hey, Brent, uh, we need. Can I keep this up?" And he's like, "Yeah, no problem." So and they can use my stuff all they want. And when I use other people's stuff, I tell them, "You go to their channel and you watch it for yourself." Um, no one wants to give me a loaded weapon as bars. Yeah, well, that's true. Um, they didn't get what they wanted from. Yeah, They didn't get what they wanted from Jason. Basically, a bad divorce. They don't like his dad. They got nothing from him. It's stupid. First off, I don't get into the divorce stuff. I mean, I'm someone who went through a contentious divorce. It's not fun. It's ugly. Both sides end up looking bad, even if that's not the intention of either side. Uh, so there's nothing good that's going to come from it, and that I knew that's what it was. I knew that's exactly what that was. So you know, it's just it's rumors, it's drama, like dumb drama that no one really cares about, and those that do are just petty people. Uh, if if Jeremy were doing everything on his channel about the divorce, I'd say, yeah, talk about it all day. He's the one broadcasting it, but that's not the case. And what I see from Jason is 100% um, uh, child alienation. That's what I see. And it's one thing to take a child away from their parent for a short time and say, yeah, until we can calm things down, we'll do that. That I'm okay with. It's temporary. Uh, but clearly, Jason has been kept away from his dad for years. He has been told things about his dad. He's talking about things about his dad that really don't matter. I don't care if Jeremy had an affair. I'm not going to get into the. Here's the thing about the specifics of that. Were they already in a divorce and he just started dating? I don't know. Um, you know that that happens. Um, and the thing is, it's not illegal. There's no reason for me to care about that any more than what I do. Um, a woman scorned, there's nothing but an accusation, and that's also the problem. People want to put up family court documents. The bar of evidentiary standard in family court is so low. It literally is always he said, she said, always. rarely do they actually go to try to find facts. Um, and the court will be like, well, we'll have to take this person's word for it. And that if you have someone who's vindictive, uh, that can happen, and not even vindictive, just someone who's hurt. And that's one thing you have to recognize when it comes to relationships is it's they want the other person to feel the hurt that they feel. They want them to feel it and understand it. And that's what I see with Guapo. And I keep posting. I'm like, that dude just needs to. He just he's he's going after Jeremy only because his girlfriend left him and now works for Jeremy. And it's like, dude, you need to move on. Move on with your life. Um, go start dating. Put that person in your past. Um, you know, he is preventing Chapo from moving on. Chapo clearly does not want anything to do. He's injecting himself more and more into her life because she's moving away. She's moving on. Let her go, dude. And you find that some people just can't, especially with abusive people who've had control over you. They never get over the control over you that they lost. When Jeremy's son becomes a parent himself, he'll realize a lot of what Jeremy did. I saw those. I'll say this: I saw the emails that people were posting about Jeremy, and I'm sorry that I even have to talk about this. I don't want to talk about Jeremy's life, but I'll say this: you can tell Jeremy's a guy in therapy. Jeremy and George have both said that they're under care. They're both talking to therapists and medical professionals about all the stress they're going through, and you can see that from Jeremy's emails. He's not getting into a back and forth. He's being loving. And if you're a parent, who's being alienated, that's some of the best advice I can give you is if you're being alienated, still send birthday cards, still send Christmas cards, still show that you're there, that you're a loving person, that you love your child. And here's the thing, for the people who are doing the alienating, this is going to backfire on you because yeah, you can brainwash kids, especially in their teen years. Teens rebel. Teens also, especially with male teens, they with men, there's uh, you know a need to protect. That's the instinctual thing of men. And sadly, in our society, we allow young boys to be raised by primarily single moms, and they don't learn how to be a man. And I actually learned that from D.L. Hewley, who I was listening to an interview he gave several years ago where he said, I can walk up to a guy and in the first 5 minutes, I know if he had a man in his life growing up. I know if his dad was around. And it's just the way he carries himself. It's the way he says things, all that stuff. And I was a Marine officer at the time, and I started looking around. The Marines is a very machismo culture. So, you get those who they get their supercars and like they buy all this stuff. They buy lots of guns, and you get several who are hunters and those who are like big into gaming. And it's an epidemic in our society today. We talk about men who are boys, and it's both men and women's fault. And I was noticing when there's people with this false man, this machismo that really doesn't speak to manhood. uh, I would start talking about, I'd be like, hey, you know, what was your life like? They were almost always either from a home where there was a divorce or where the parents hadn't got married and their dads really weren't in their life too much. But the guys who were very stoic, took care of their family, clearly loved their family, were dedicated to their kids, dedicated to their spouse, and didn't need all that. Didn't need a boat, didn't need a motorcycle. Those were the ones who had a dad in their life, is what I noticed. Uh, I, Skipper, I live in Chiefland. I wanted to go and support, but I have doctor's appointments that day. cancel. Do your life. If you do want to go, and you don't have to come on screen. If you just want to give me a report on it, I would be thankful. But yeah, so I've noticed this, and you also see it with NFL players and NBA players. When they get drafted, what's the first thing they do? They buy their mom a house, because these moms have essentially made these kids into the boyfriend and husbands that they wanted to do. That they want a provider. And so now, as their young men become adults, they want them to provide for them. And they're instilling in these young men that they need to provide for their moms. And it's like, Kevin, what's his name, Kevin, Samuels, God rest his soul, used to talk about this. You're turning your boys into the boyfriend that you want. And it's pretty crazy. And it's, you talk about toxic masculinity. That's it. And every study shows that, children who have their dad in their life always end up better rounded, better people. And, for an alienation case like this, what tends to happen is, yeah, the children hate the alienated parent, because they're drawn to the alienating parent, and they feel this need to protect, and they listen to all the lies, or even if it's not lies, they listen to one side. And even if, let's say, Jeremy did cheat, okay, but as a kid, that really, yeah, it sucks, but you need to get past that. And especially if it was years ago, you need to move on. You need to get a therapist and move on from that. But yeah, what happens is, as they become adults, and if you keep being loving, you keep reaching out to them, eventually, it's it's either one of two things: either their siblings convince them, or they have a child of their own and realize, oh, I want my child to know their grandparents. When one of those two things, and then the alienated parent comes back into their life, they realize, oh, this is not the horrible person that I was taught they were. And now it flips, and they start hating the alienating parent. So, you if you're going through a divorce and there's a custody issue, do not keep your kids from your former partner. They need a relationship. It's you're punishing the kid, not the partner. Um, and always keep mindful of that. You're punishing your child, not the partner. And it's going to backfire on you. It is not going to work out the way that you will want it to. It's hard. I get it. It's hard to interact with your spouse. You might hate that person, and you can hate that person. Don't make your kids hate them. If they're not paying child support, guess what? Deal with that in the freaking courts. Let them, if they get, thrown in jail for it, that's all on the courts. It's not on you. But don't keep your kid from them because you're not able to have a relationship with them. Um, you know, I can't tell you, when my kid's with me, I'm like, hey, have you called your mom? No. Stop what you're doing right now. Put the video game down. Go call your mom. I do that, like, literally, because it's important. It's important. Um, but Jeremy's doing everything right. I saw that in those emails. So if anyone's close to Jeremy, he's doing things the right way. And he might have, years ago during the divorce, might not have done things the right way. But in all of this stuff, I pointed this out yesterday, in all of this stuff, on all the people involved, Lynette, John, Jeremy, George, Willis, Lloyd, Landon, Jeremy and George are the only people I know who are getting any type of treatment. Only ones dealing with this stress. And that tells me something about them. That tells me something about their character. And the people jumping in who are not focusing on that stuff, I'm like, Lynette doesn't need a lawyer. She doesn't need a GoFundMe. She needs a therapist. That's absolutely what she needs. I need to go get a warmer on my coffee. It'll probably be like less than 60 seconds. So don't go away. I'm going to go get this. You can watch my new bumper. There we go. I wanted to use the hold music from the VA. I was talking about that with AVA last night, but I believe it's copyrighted. So I didn't want to break anybody's copyright. I really try not to do that. I see we have Angry Vet in here. Everyone, if you're not subscribed on YouTube to Angry Vet's channel, subscribe to him. He is being persecuted by the federal government. He's on 8 charges of wiretapping for holding his phone, recording his VA doctor telling him that he was not going to treat him. That is an abuse of our legal system. That is not wiretapping. That is a dude trying to show that he's not getting adequate care. And that's why, for when people come to me and they say, "Oh, we should have government single payer care." No. And I can tell you, you've never volunteered at a VA, because if you volunteered at a VA, you know that single payer care is horrible. The VA is the biggest insurer in the United States, and they suck. And that's single payer government run healthcare. We need to dismantle the VA. The VA is doing things it should not be doing. All the VA hospitals should be turned over to Health and Human Services. The homeless veteran shelters should be turned over to HUD. That's what those organizations do. The VA should only be looking at making sure that our records are good, should be making sure that these other agencies are giving us proper services. That's what the VA needs a complete and total mission change. And anyone who tries to argue anything else, they have not dealt with the VA enough.
Dad, what are you doing? It's Shark Week.
Yeah, no doxing in the chat. Yeah, hashtag the VA sucks. That's the hashtag I use right here. Right there. Thank you, Kanu. The VA sucks, because they do. And this is why the VA instead they're right now fighting with veterans in federal court about in Los Angeles. There's land that was it was donated to the VA and the federal government for use of a soldiers and sailors home, so that we could have homeless veterans and enfeebled veterans taken care of. And there's one there, but it's really small. The rest of the land is now rented to USC and Brentwood City Schools for dormitories and schools. That's not what it was donated for. Get those people out of there. We should have homeless veterans. LA leads in homeless veterans. Clear out those dormitories. Let USC go build their own somewhere else. But see, it's prime real estate for USC to be like, "Oh, you should come here. You're going to live right next to Beverly Hills." And in the meantime, the veterans get the shaft.
No, we're not homosexual, but we are willing to learn.
I got to turn down my thing here. Anything else you guys want to talk about today? I haven't gone through much of the news. I went through a little bit. I saw they're trying a new indictment on Trump. It's like, how many times do you guys have to do this and fail? Like, all you're doing is doing everything to make this guy freaking win the election. My dad's skin doctor won't treat him. Gville doctor being seen for something else, contacting Jacksonville primary doctor to get the skin doctor to refer him back. That's ridiculous, Terry. If your dad's a veteran, uh, you can always email me at veterannation@protonmail.com, or you can DM me on any of my social media. And if you need help, there are several people in this chat that I have written letters and made phone calls on their behalf. There are. I will happily do stuff. And several in the chat that I've done stuff for, they will be right there alongside me. There's an Air Force satellite facility being used here to house civilian homeless, no veterans on government installation. Yeah, get me the name of that, Kahanu. I'll happily write stuff about that, because that's ridiculous. See how long you'll need to wait for appointments, especially if it's not private. Especially, we have millions of extra people in the U.S. in the past 4 years to compete with you. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. It's ridiculous. Oh, thank you for putting the Battle Buddy app. Yeah, if you're a veteran and you're in a crisis, use the Battle Buddies app. You reach out to a veteran like myself. I am a mentor on there, and you can talk about whatever's going on. We'll offer you, help and services and all that good stuff. But sometimes it just helps to talk to another veteran, one who's been through it and understands. And I've been through a lot of stuff. He drove the ships that took soldiers to the mainland, dropped them off. Oh, would he be willing to talk about that? I'd love to have him on. I would love to have him on. I love talking with older vets. I'm about ready to republish the George Lunsack interview I did. He was 98. Or no, was he 98 or 99 when I interviewed him? He was up there, and I got to interview him. He was a Coast Guard veteran, but he was at D-Day, and he was also at VJ Day. After D-Day, he was the Japanese people at the Japanese embassy in France after they were taken prisoner. They transported them back to Japan. TV, AVA, Media's beard comb. Look into the clinic in Orange Park. Here's the thing. I can look into clinics, but they stonewall. What helps is if I have veterans who are there willing to go in and do videos. I can do FOIA requests all day long, but they will deny me. I'll do it. I will happily do it. Soldier blast Biden after getting charged for gear he left in Afghanistan. That's a bunch of effing BS. Send me that story if you would, Kilobyte. That's absolute BS. I will happily do stuff. Veteran Nation 2024. Yeah, great. This channel's not Mike Arthur. It's Veteran Nation. It's not about me. It's about the veterans. Some of you guys arguing back and forth in the chat. We got 169 people watching live. Good mix. People on X, people on YouTube, people on Facebook. Everyone, please like, share, subscribe us. I do appreciate it. It's great having you guys all here. It absolutely is. Mike is ignoring my funny comments. I try to get to all the comments. I get people who complain with my ADHD that I bounce around. I jump on when I do these. I do targets of opportunity. They're not always structured. So people are like, you're all over the place. When I do the Tuesday show, Veteran Nation Live, I try to keep it very structured for me and TC. You might have caught that last night. Definitely go and watch it. TC, he claims he wasn't making jokes, but TC was in there making jokes last night. I'm slowly chipping away at his gruff exterior. He wants to be this. I'm a libertarian. You're not gonna mess with me type of guy. But yeah, I'm chipping away at that, and we're starting to get to the human side of TC. He's actually a good dude. I love TC. I can't wait till sometime I can get up to Minnesota. I would love to get a van or a Range Rover, like an older one or something that I can camp out of and like sleep in. Because I want to take this show on the road. If you guys want to know what I want to do with Veteran Nation, go look up Charles Corral. He was a guy on CBS Sunday Morning News, and he would go in a Winnebago and just drive around the country and just meet with people and do stories about them. I want to do that with veterans. That's one of that's been always a goal of this show. So you know, I gotta we got to get to the point where I can buy a vehicle, slap a Veteran Nation decal on it, and we'll take this show on the road. TC was funny last night. Yep. Uh, I'm really glad. Like, I'm looking at all the comments, and most of them are veterans that I've been able to talk with you guys about, or talk to you one on one. This is I'm hitting all the goals I ever wanted for this show. I'm just so blessed. But I attribute a lot of that to this show is not about me. T-shirt idea: veterans deserve freedom, not isolation. Yep. I would agree with that. Yeah, I'll have to look to see if I can. I do most of the graphic stuff for us, so I'll have to look and see if I can do, make that. I make shirts and decals. So Wilburns, we might want to get together. I don't know if you were here the other day. I've developed a board game for veterans or to teach people about how the VA operates, and the board. I have to develop the actual board. I need a design for the board. Yep, everyone smash that like. Thank you, Angry Vet. Also, make sure you're going to a lot of these guys. Like we got Eric Miller, his channel is at KD7LTN. We got at the Angry Vet. We've got a Veterans Affair Media. I was raised by my grandparents. My grandpa was in World War II, took care of him. His final years, he had to deal with his veteran medical. It always took so long to get anything approved. Absolutely. They just want to get right in the way of everything. TC is Minnesota Black Robe Regiment. Yeah, absolutely. Go check out TC's show. He and I, we both do separate stories. Sometimes we do joint stories, but we're all about, honoring their oaths and, transparency and accountability in our government. My husband was a Vietnam veteran. He was on subtenders and search and rescue ships. Okay, a little bit bigger than PT boats. Very nice. If any Vietnam veterans want to come on the show, those were my heroes growing up. I remember watching Tour of Duty, Platoon, and now I'm introducing my kid to those shows, and he loves them. He just got through Band of Brothers, and I was like, oh, if you like this, I told him to check out Hacksaw Ridge, and they did a school trip over the summer. They went to Japan for a week, and I was like, watch Hacksaw Ridge, and it was actually available on the plane. So he's like, Dad, I watched that movie. It was good. So I always give him like stuff like that to watch. And someone turns their life over to the military should take care of all basic needs for that vet. I wouldn't say all basic needs, but offer assistance. Like I've got my service dog. She's laying down right now. We were up early, so she's back napping. When I got her, the VA was not doing anything with service dogs. They still do very little with service dogs. I actually ran into another veteran with a service dog and was like, hey, where'd you get your dog? I'm a veteran. I think I could be helped by a dog. And he happened to be Custom Canine's veteran outreach. And he was like, brother, I'll get you a dog. He's like, let's sit down. We'll go through all your symptoms. And we went and had breakfast and we went through everything. And yeah, 5 months later, he got me a dog. He's like, I might have a dog. He's like, are you okay with any breed? I'm like, yeah. And he's like, you're a veteran. You're a Marine. You don't want a pit bull or German Shepherd. I was like, I'll take any dog. He goes, so if I give you a little teacup poodle, you'll be happy. And I said, yep. And he goes, I got a poodle for you. And this dog has changed my life. She has been the greatest blessing. So, um, and then I had to, she, like when we're here at the house and she's not working, she wants to play all the time. And I would play with her, but it still wasn't enough to get her energy. Like when my kids here, oh, no problem. They play and chase each other around. But she was still needed more. So I got a kitten, and that's where Conspiracy Kitty came from. And you can follow Conspiracy Kitty on Twitter at Kitty Conspires, Kitty Conspires, not IE with a Y. Well, folks, I've gone through all the stories I wanted to go through today. Keep sending me stuff. Some of you, I'm talking with you guys offline. Please, even after this stream is done, share it out. Let people find it. There might be a veteran out there who could be helped by something I'm saying, or they might need to reach out, and I would love to be able to help more people. So you guys are my hashtag support squad. So when you retweet it, put hashtag support squad so I know who you guys are. But I really appreciate all the help that you guys have done. Feel free to DM me, especially if it's funny memes. I love funny memes. I am on True Social as well, at Veteran Nation on True Social. All one word there. For some reason, someone's sitting on that on Twitter, but I've got Veteran_Nation. And for a lot of these guys in the chat over here, they all have channels. Go check out their channels. They're good guys. We all support each other. They know if they send me something and they're like, hey, brother, can you push this out? Can you do this for me? I'll try to do my best. So there's no helping me. Wyatt Earp, there's a lot of veterans. I get that. And, one thing I'll say, a lot of veterans will say that, and I'll say, well, here's the things that can help you. Then 6 months down the road, they come back to me and they're like, okay, yeah, I'm ready to do this stuff. And they end up their life. We start improving their lives. And that's what's important. And, we'll help you guys. And if you're dealing with corruption in your local area, definitely send it to us. I've got no problem doing stories. But, folks, I'm going to get going here. I thank you so much for joining us. We will be back with our regular show in not next Tuesday, but the Tuesday after. But in the meantime, you can keep watching us here, or you can check out Minnesota Black Robe Regiment on YouTube. You can also find TC at Robe Regiment, ROBE Regiment on Twitter. Follow us, DM us. But thank you for joining us. Thank you for listening to all the stuff I was pushing out. And as usual, thank you all for being worth serving.